John Wayne expressed contentment with his stature as a prominent figure in the spotlight, but lamented the lack of harmony with certain colleagues. Throughout Hollywood's history, John Wayne stands out as a figure marked by numerous conflicts in the entertainment industry. These tensions stem partly from his personal insecurities regarding his relationships and also from discord during collaborative endeavors. Let us now examine 6 notable individuals who consistently sought distance from John Wayne. Clark Gable. Despite their shared political affiliation as Republicans in Hollywood, Clark Gable and John Wayne's relationship was marked by a notable absence of camaraderie. While they may have found common ground on political issues, their personal interactions were characterized by a sense of mutual indifference, if not outright animosity. The roots of their feud lay not in politics, but in the realm of artistic differences. Both Gable and Wayne were titans of the silver screen, revered for their iconic performances in classic films. However, when Wayne made the transition from actor to director in the late 1950s, tensions between the two men reached a boiling point. Wayne's decision to helm his own projects represented a bold departure from his established role as a leading man, signaling his ambition to leave behind a lasting legacy as a filmmaker. His directorial debut, the epic western The Alamo, marked a turning point in his career, a chance for Wayne to assert his creative vision and cement his status as a Hollywood heavyweight. However, Gable, known for his own formidable presence on screen, may have viewed Wayne's foray into directing with a hint of skepticism. Their differing approaches to their craft and divergent artistic sensibilities may have contributed to an underlying tension between them, exacerbating any existing friction in their relationship. While their political alignment may have provided a common ground, it was not enough to bridge the gap between them. Their feud, rooted in artistic rivalry rather than political discord, serves as a reminder of the complex dynamics at play in Hollywood, a world where egos clash and ambitions collide against the backdrop of fame and fortune. He reportedly believed that Wayne was overreaching and destined to fail with his debut effort. When Wayne approached Gable with the offer to portray the lead role of Davy Crockett in The Alamo, Gable refused, unwilling to risk his credibility for what he perceived as a risky venture. According to accounts from the time, Wayne allegedly pleaded with Gable to reconsider, recognizing the significance of having such a revered actor on board for his directorial debut. However, Gable remained steadfast in his decision, unwilling to compromise his reputation for the sake of a colleague's ambition. With Gable's refusal to take on the role of Davy Crockett, Wayne found himself faced with a dilemma. Initially, he had not intended to star in the film himself, preferring to focus solely on directing. However, in the absence of a suitable replacement, Wayne ultimately stepped into the iconic role, shouldering the dual responsibilities of actor and director. Critics' opinions of The Alamo remain divided to this day, with some praising its epic scope and stirring portrayal of American history, while others decry it as cheap, warmongering propaganda. Yet, despite the controversy surrounding the film, there is no denying its status as a classic in the eyes of Wayne's devoted fans, who continue to celebrate it as a testament to his enduring legacy in Hollywood. John Lennon. John Lennon's animosity towards John Wayne stemmed from a fundamental clash of ideologies that persisted both during Lennon's lifetime and after the Western legend's passing. Lennon, a staunch advocate for peace and nonviolence, saw Wayne as the antithesis of everything he stood for, a symbol of militarism and aggression that stood in direct opposition to his message of love and harmony. From Lennon's perspective, Wayne was not merely an actor playing roles on the silver screen. He was a purveyor of a dangerous ideology, one that glorified conflict and perpetuated a cycle of violence. Growing up watching Wayne's films, Lennon felt as though he had been subjected to a relentless propaganda campaign, with Wayne's rugged, gunslinging characters serving as unwitting emissaries of war. As Lenin matured and embarked on his own journey as a father, he made a conscious decision to shield his children from what he perceived as the toxic influence of Wayne's cinematic oeuvre. Determined to raise them with values of peace and compassion, Lenin ensured that they had no exposure to the warmongering works of Wayne, a testament to his unwavering commitment to his principles, even in the face of cultural icons whose influence loomed large over the collective consciousness. For Lenin, the divide between himself and Wayne was not just a matter of personal preference. It was a philosophical divide that cut to the core of their respective worldviews. While Lenin saw himself as a beacon of enlightenment, preaching a gospel of love and understanding, he viewed Wayne as a relic of a bygone era, a symbol of masculinity rooted in aggression and domination. In a revealing interview from 1969, conducted amidst their most flagrant acts of resistance, Lenin made his feelings towards Wayne abundantly clear. As he and Ono locked themselves in their bedroom in an iconic gesture of protest, Lenin declared his staunch refusal to allow his son, Sean, to be exposed to Wayne's cinematic legacy. To Lenin, Wayne represented everything he despised about the glorification of war and violence, a sentiment that only intensified as the years passed. Even after Wayne's passing, Lenin continued to ridicule the late Hollywood legend with unabated fervor. By that point, Lenin had come to view the idolization of figures like Wayne as a perilous pursuit, one that led only to destruction and death. In Lenin's eyes, Wayne's iconic status served as a cautionary tale, a grim reminder of the dangers of idolizing masculine archetypes devoid of nuance and empathy. Lenin's critique of Wayne's demise took on a particularly macabre tone, as he insinuated that the actor's battle with cancer was a manifestation of his failure to embrace his feminine side. In Lenin's view, Wayne's inability to connect with his softer, more compassionate aspects led to a fatal imbalance, a reckoning with his own inner turmoil that ultimately consumed him. Yet Lenin's scathing indictment of Wayne's masculinity was not merely a condemnation of the individual. It was a broader critique of a society that valorized aggression and stoicism at the expense of vulnerability and introspection. For Lenin, Wayne's tragic fate served as a stark reminder of the perils of toxic masculinity, a reminder that resonated deeply in the wake of his own untimely demise, which would tragically mirror the fate of the very figure he had once scorned. Spike Lee. Spike Lee, the renowned African-American filmmaker, has emerged as a vocal critic of John Wayne's legacy, particularly his portrayal of Native Americans in Western films. Lee's disdain for Wayne came to the forefront during a 2018 BAFTA event, where he delivered a searing critique of Hollywood's treatment of race throughout its history. In his impassioned lecture, Lee castigated the industry for perpetuating harmful stereotypes and perpetuating a narrative of white supremacy. Wayne's Western films, in particular, came under fire for their portrayal of Native Americans as savages, a depiction that Lee found deeply troubling and emblematic of the systemic racism ingrained in American cinema. Lee's criticism of Wayne was uncompromising and unapologetic, as he lambasted the late actor for his role in perpetuating harmful stereotypes and contributing to the marginalization of indigenous peoples. With characteristic candor, Lee pulled no punches in his condemnation of Wayne's cinematic legacy, drawing a sharp contrast between the glorified image of the cowboy hero and the harsh realities faced by Native communities. The crowd at the BAFTA event, it seems, resonated strongly with Lee's sentiments, acknowledging the validity of his critique and the need for greater accountability within the film industry. Lee's words struck a chord, sparking a conversation about representation and diversity that reverberated far beyond the confines of the auditorium. In Lee's eyes, Ford's contributions to the cinematic canon were tainted by the same pervasive racism and misogyny that characterized Wayne's films. a sentiment that underscored Lee's broader critique of the industry's complicity in perpetuating harmful stereotypes. While Wayne's peers may have harbored animosity towards him during his lifetime, Lee's condemnation of the Western legend's legacy reflects a more nuanced and contemporary perspective. In today's society, attitudes towards Wayne's work have evolved, with many viewing his portrayals of race and gender as deeply problematic and incompatible with modern sensibilities. Spike Lee's vocal opposition to Wayne's legacy is emblematic of a broader reevaluation taking place within the entertainment industry, a reevaluation that challenges the glorification of figures whose actions and attitudes are deemed incompatible with contemporary values. In the era of the Me Too movement and heightened awareness of systemic racism, there is growing consensus that Wayne's legacy is tarnished by his associations with racism and misogyny. As outspoken advocates like Spike Lee continue to raise awareness of the problematic aspects of Wayne's legacy, modern society is forced to confront uncomfortable truths about one of its most iconic figures. The push to reassess Wayne's place in history has led to contentious debates, including efforts to remove his name from public spaces, such as John Wayne Airport, a symbolic gesture aimed at repudiating his problematic legacy. For Spike Lee and others who share his perspective, the call to write John Wayne out of history is not just about erasing a name. It's about confronting the enduring legacy of racism and sexism in the entertainment industry and acknowledging the harm caused by figures like Wayne. Marlon Brando. Wayne's disdain for Marlon Brando extended far beyond mere disapproval. It was a deep-seated antipathy that simmered beneath the surface of Hollywood's glittering facade. The legendary actor didn't need to be in the same room as Brando to harbor his negative sentiments. They were ingrained in his very being, a testament to the clash of ideologies and egos that often characterized Tinseltown. The spark that ignited Wayne's fire into a blazing inferno was Brando's audacious refusal to accept the prestigious Academy Award for Best Actor in Person. It was a move that Wayne perceived as not just disrespectful to the institution of the Oscars, but as a direct affront to the values he held dear. To Wayne, Brando's actions epitomized everything that was wrong with the entertainment industry, an industry where ego and pretense often overshadowed talent and integrity. The tipping point came when Sachin Littlefeather, a Native American activist, stepped onto the stage to decline the award on Brando's behalf, citing his solidarity with the struggles of indigenous peoples. As Littlefeather began her impassioned speech, Wayne, known colloquially as the Duke, was reportedly incensed. Eyewitnesses recounted how he made a move towards the stage, fueled by a righteous fury that threatened to boil over. In that moment, Wayne embodied the very essence of his on-screen persona, the rugged, no-nonsense cowboy who brooked no defiance. His intentions were clear: to forcibly remove Littlefeather from the stage and quash what he perceived as a misguided attempt to hijack the Oscars for political gain. But fate intervened in the form of 6 burly security men who swiftly moved to restrain Wayne before he could reach Littlefeather. Their intervention prevented a potential altercation from escalating into a full-blown confrontation, sparing the Academy the embarrassment of a public spectacle. Wayne's response to the Brando-Littlefeather incident reflected his deeply held convictions and uncompromising worldview. To him, Brando's decision to send Littlefeather in his stead was not only a cowardly evasion of responsibility, but also a cynical ploy to manipulate the platform of the Academy Awards for personal gain. In Wayne's eyes, if Brando truly believed in the causes he espoused, he should have had the courage to stand before his peers and the world, articulating his beliefs with conviction and integrity. By abstaining from the ceremony and delegating the task to Littlefeather, Brando, in Wayne's estimation, not only shirked his duty, but also diminished the significance of the Oscars, a sentiment that struck at the very heart of Wayne's reverence for the institution. Moreover, Wayne's criticism extended beyond the mere act of non-attendance. It was a scathing indictment of what he perceived as Brando's exploitation of indigenous culture for his own ends. By dressing Littlefeather in traditional Native American attire, Wayne believed Brando was guilty of reducing a complex and sacred heritage to a superficial accessory, a form of cultural appropriation that only served to cheapen the struggles of indigenous peoples. In voicing his thoughts on the matter, Wayne found himself embroiled in yet another controversy, as his comments drew swift condemnation from those who saw them as insensitive and out of touch. To his detractors, Wayne's words epitomized the entrenched prejudices and blind spots of a bygone era, an era that was rapidly fading into oblivion as the voices of marginalized communities grew louder and more insistent. But for Wayne, the backlash only served to reinforce his belief in the righteousness of his cause. To him, it was a matter of principle, a stand against what he perceived as the erosion of traditional values and the encroachment of political correctness on the hallowed ground of Hollywood. In Wayne's eyes, he was not just defending his own beliefs, he was fighting to preserve a way of life that was as much a part of him as the blood that flowed through his veins. Katherine Hepburn. Katherine Hepburn's disdain for John Wayne was palpable, a sentiment that ran so deep that she initially refused to entertain the notion of working alongside the Western icon. Their clash of personalities and ideologies seemed insurmountable, casting a shadow over any potential collaboration. However, fate had other plans, as Hepburn found herself reluctantly drawn into a project that would bring her face to face with the very embodiment of everything she had once despised. Despite her reservations, she eventually relented, perhaps swayed by the lure of a compelling script or the persuasive powers of the studio. Yet, Hepburn's decision to break her vow of avoidance was not without its consequences. On the set of their joint venture, tensions simmered beneath the surface, with Hepburn reportedly criticizing Wayne's behavior and demeanor. Their interactions, though professional, were tinged with an undercurrent of animosity, a reflection of the deep-seated antipathy that still lingered between them. Despite their rocky relationship, it seems that Hepburn's feelings towards Wayne underwent a transformation in the twilight of his life. As the curtain drew to a close on Wayne's storied career, Hepburn's stance softened, and a begrudging respect seemed to have blossomed amidst the thorns of their past conflicts. It's a testament to the complexity of human relationships, where animosity can evolve into grudging admiration and adversaries can find common ground in the face of mortality. Hepburn's eventual acknowledgement of Wayne's contributions to the silver screen, despite their tumultuous history, speaks to the power of forgiveness and reconciliation in the ever-changing landscape of Hollywood. However, Hepburn's reconciliation with Wayne did not erase the lingering resentment towards his political affiliations. Wayne's staunch anti-communist stance and his close ties to the House Un-American Activities Committee, HUAS, were a source of profound disapproval for Hepburn and many of their peers in the entertainment industry. HUAC's ruthless crusade against alleged communist sympathizers in Hollywood cast a dark shadow over Wayne's legacy, tarnishing his reputation in the eyes of those who viewed his collaboration with the organization as a betrayal of the fundamental principles of freedom and artistic expression. In the early 1950s, Hepburn was presented with the opportunity to star alongside Wayne in the film Hondo. It was a chance for two titans of the silver screen to share the spotlight, but Hepburn's principles outweighed the allure of Hollywood glamour. Refusing to compromise her convictions, she turned down the role, citing Wayne's involvement with the House Un-American Activities Committee, HUAC, as the deciding factor. To Hepburn, the work that Wayne was doing with HUAC was nothing short of monstrous, an affront to the principles of freedom and democracy that she held dear. The role in Hondo ultimately went to actress Geraldine Page, who delivered a standout performance that earned her an Academy Award nomination, an ironic twist of fate that underscored the repercussions of Hepburn's principled stance. Fast forward 2 decades, and the political landscape of Hollywood had undergone a seismic shift. The fervor of the Red Scare had dissipated, and stars were no longer encouraged to wage ideological warfare against one another. In the more relaxed atmosphere of the 1970s, Hepburn found herself reconsidering her stance on collaborating with Wayne. Despite her reservations, she agreed to star alongside him in Rooster Cogburn, marking a significant thaw in their frosty relationship. However, Hepburn's newfound willingness to work with Wayne did not signal an end to their conflicts. On the set of Rooster Cogburn, tensions simmered as Wayne's fiery temperament clashed with Hepburn's no-nonsense attitude. Hepburn reportedly criticized Wayne's propensity for arguments with the crew, viewing it as a breach of professionalism, an opinion that she did not hesitate to voice. Yet, Hepburn's perception of Wayne underwent a subtle transformation in the wake of his passing. As the curtain fell on Wayne's illustrious career, Hepburn found herself reflecting on his legacy with newfound appreciation. Despite their differences and past conflicts, she acknowledged Wayne as a talented man, an acknowledgement that spoke volumes about the evolution of their relationship over the years. Frank Sinatra. The ideological chasm between Frank Sinatra and John Wayne was emblematic of the broader political divide that permeated Hollywood during their shared era. Sinatra, known for his liberal activism and vocal support of progressive causes, found himself at odds with Wayne, whose staunch conservatism and anti-communist fervor placed him on the opposite end of the political spectrum. Sinatra's early days in Hollywood were marked by his outspoken liberalism, a stance that attracted the attention of the FBI, who kept a close watch on him amid suspicions of communist sympathies. Despite the scrutiny, Sinatra remained undeterred in his support for liberal organizations and politicians, using his platform to advocate for social change. Conversely, Wayne's staunch anti-communist stance and close ties to conservative circles positioned him as a vocal opponent of Sinatra's progressive ideals. Their conflicting beliefs and polarizing political views set the stage for a clash of titans within the entertainment industry. A clash that would come to a head over a contentious hiring decision. The catalyst for their feud came when Wayne publicly criticized Sinatra's decision to hire Alfred Maltz, a filmmaker with alleged communist ties, to write a screenplay for one of his films. Wayne was not alone in his condemnation of Sinatra's choice, as the backlash against Maltz's hiring was swift and widespread. In the face of mounting pressure, Sinatra ultimately relented, parting ways with Maltz and severing ties with the blacklisted filmmaker. Despite Sinatra's decision to remove Maltz from the project, his animosity towards Wayne persisted, fueling tensions between the two men. Their simmering resentment reached a boiling point at a Hollywood benefit show, where they reportedly came close to engaging in a physical altercation. However, in a surprising turn of events, this incident served as a catalyst for reconciliation, prompting Sinatra and Wayne to set aside their differences and bury the hatchet. While Wayne may have rubbed many of his peers the wrong way during his days in Hollywood, his legacy evolved over time, with some of his erstwhile critics coming to view him in a more positive light by the time of his death. Despite the controversies that surrounded him, Wayne's contributions to the silver screen and his steadfast commitment to his principles earned him the respect and admiration of even his harshest critics. The revelation of the near-fight between Sinatra and Wayne sheds light on the complex dynamics of Hollywood's golden era, where rivalries and alliances were forged amidst the glare of the spotlight. It serves as a reminder that behind the glamour and glitz of Tinseltown lay a world of egos and ambitions, where friendships could be forged in the unlikeliest of circumstances. As we reflect on the legacies of John Wayne, Frank Sinatra, and their contemporaries, we are reminded of the enduring power of forgiveness and reconciliation, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of adversity. Theirs is a story of redemption and renewal, a reminder that even in the cutthroat world of Hollywood, there is always room for growth and change. What do you think about John Wayne's feuds with his co-stars? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this, and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.